Welcome back to a Book a Day podcast. In the previous episode, we were discussing this wonderful book by Bijal Shah. It's called Bibliotherapy, The Healing Power of Reading. And it is precisely what the title suggests. It's about how we can heal ourselves through bibliotherapy, that is, through reading books or writing about them. So, today in this episode, I'm going to talk about different techniques, different methods through which we can practice bibliotherapy. If you want to understand what really bibliotherapy is, what are the different ways in which it evolved, what are the underlying philosophies, its history, please check out the previous episode and you'll get to learn some interesting things there. Today, as I said, let's talk about certain specific methods in which we can heal ourselves through books. The first one is literary journaling. So, journaling, we all understand, we write things down. Literary journaling, it takes us one step further. What we do in this case is we journal all the books we have read, and we also journal the impact they've had on us. So this process combines two things. One, the literature that we read, and second, journaling, writing about its impact and then your own emotions. So how do we go about it? Let me give you step-by-step ideas which have been described in the book. First of all, let's start with this question. The question is there any area in your life that you would like to explore or work on, or any issue that you're currently struggling with that you would want to work on? Right? That's the first question you should ask yourself. Then, once again, ask yourself another question. Is there any book that you are currently reading that you're connecting with, or something that you've read in the past that has truly moved you, or that you would want to find more about it? It could be the subject, it could be the author, it could be the characters. In case you don't know which book to find, you are looking to find ways in which to select a book, here is something you should consider. First of all, focus on the genre. Which ones you enjoy, whether it's fiction, and in fiction which one, mystery, historical fiction, something else, or it's non-fiction. In non-fiction, what do you enjoy? Memoir, biography, essays, or poetry, could be anything. Then focus on the writing style. What kind of writing style would you like to have? Then, based on all that, once you have certain shortlists, then you can go for reading, picking a book and reading it. And read slowly, carefully. Spend your time in reading the book at your own comfortable speed. Then we'll go to the journaling part. First of all, make sure you highlight the passages or make notes of any lines that you have loved. Just write down how they made you feel. What was the emotional impact of that particular piece of writing on you? The other way to go about it could be, whatever you read, you discuss it with somebody else, maybe a friend, maybe somebody you know who is interested in books. Maybe it's your book club that you're a part of. You can discuss it with somebody else. The first one was discussing the book, the ideas with yourself. Second was discussing it with somebody else. In both cases, whatever that comes up through those discussions, through those reflections, just write it down and keep it aside for a day or two. Then come back to it. Try to understand your own emotions. See them as objectively as you can. What are the emotions that you connect with? What are the emotions or words or kind of things that move you emotionally? What are the things that you would like to work on? And just ask yourself what would be the right way to approach those things. So it just gives you that space where you can reflect, but at the same time, through reading, you can work on them. You get a new perspective of the writer, and you can straight away start working on those issues. So that is one way to go about it. There's another way, uh, especially which is more relevant in our world, where we have the advantages of technology. It's audio journaling. The beauty of this particular method, audio journaling, is that you can capture your raw emotions in the purest form as you experience them. So you can save a voice note, and it's a kind of a snapshot of how you feel in that moment. You can just save it. And it is especially helpful for those who find it easier to verbalize their thoughts rather than organizing them on a piece of paper. Also, it's a good technique for people who are more auditory than visual, people who find it maybe easier to absorb information through listening rather than seeing. And once again, it'll be for sure more helpful for those who struggle with literacy or have certain linguistic uh, challenges, difficulties, etc. So, what you will do in this case is once again you'll read the book and then you will make voice notes. What did you experience? What did you think about it? And also add your own reflections. If a character is doing something, what do you think about it? How does it emotionally affect you? Does it trigger anything in you? And just save those notes. Then at a later point, you can go back to them and listen to them, and you will feel that you understand yourself, your emotions better. Then you can use affirmations, something for which you might not need a book. A journal would be sufficient. What you're going to do is, there are things that you would want to work on. There are things that you would want to remind yourself of. Just write them down and repeat them to yourself throughout the day, every day. It could be as simple as I matter, or I love myself. My feelings matter. I am healing. My needs are important and I must honor them. When you write them down, you're reminding yourself constantly and you're working towards achieving those goals. Otherwise, what we generally think is we remind ourselves just once and we think that it will somehow manifest itself, but it doesn't work that way. You must have seen how religions work. They give you a number of rituals which you are supposed to repeat every day, and those things are important. It's important to repeat certain things so that you can practically apply them in your lives. Similarly is with affirmations. In order to feel really confident, feel more conviction so that you can work towards them, it's important to have those affirmations. Just write them down, repeat them every day, and you will see it'll have a really positive impact on your life. Then there's another way to practice bibliotherapy, which is literary reflective practice. As the name suggests, this particular approach, it involves reflecting on what you have read and then using your new insight to work out what your needs are, what your goals are, etc. And then you can put together some kind of action plan for your personal development, for, say, measuring your progress, and what are the other things that you need to do in order to achieve those goals. You might be thinking that it sounds very similar to literary journaling, but there are subtle differences here. For example, one important difference is that this particular approach offers a more structured and goal oriented approach to work through the thoughts and feelings. And this particular approach is less about emotional healing and more about working towards a goal. So you don't have to do much, you just have to go to a book which you think can inspire you, help you towards working towards a goal or finding the solution to a problem, to a challenge. Read it, then go back to your writing or thinking. You can reflect on that, you can have discussions, and based on that, you identify what your goals are. And the next step is important, which is the key difference here. Then you come up with a plan with action points to achieve those goals. And from time to time, you're going to monitor, measure, and ultimately evaluate your progress. Something that you'll have to keep focusing on every day. Keep returning to the notebook where you've written it down and make sure you are consistent with it. Then you can have another way in which you can practice bibliotherapy. And that is one by reading poetry, in which what you do is just find a poem. You can use even AI in today's world to identify which particular poem resonates with your current emotional state. And then once you have that poem, just read it, recite it to yourself, feel it, let your emotions come out. Embrace those emotions, even if those emotions are negative, even if those are of rage or anger, just let them come out. Once you allow them to come out, you'll feel much lighter within inside. And the other way to practice it is through writing poetry. And I understand it might not be suitable for you, or you might not feel comfortable right away, especially if you're new to writing. But I'm also sure that many of you, since you've been really consistent readers, you'll be able to write a few things. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to make a lot of sense to other readers. Just write it for yourself. Just put your emotions in words. To quote William Wordsworth, he said, "Poetry is the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. It takes its origins from emotion recollected in tranquility. The emotion is contemplated till by a species of reaction the tranquility disappears, and an emotion kindred to that which was before the subject of contemplation is gradually produced and does itself actually exist in the mind." So that's the poetry therapy. It's a form of expressive therapy, where what we are doing is we're using poetry to work towards emotional and psychological healing. And as I said, it might be difficult for some of you, but trust me, if you just try it once and if you then repeat the progress, you're just going to get better at it. Just do not hold back. Let go of all the things that you have, or pressure, anything, any fear of judgment or anything. Just keep it aside for a moment and allow your emotions and words and images to unfold. Just put your emotions in words. Just try it. try it for once, and you will see how wonderfully it unfolds. And you don't have to write a poem directly. Just first of all, just put the emotions out there on a piece of paper in a paragraph form, let's say. And then try to create some rhythm, some poem, some kind of song out of it. And you can draw any kind of comparisons, you can make any kind of metaphors, whatever image comes to your mind of your emotional state. Just put it out there, put it on the paper. Nobody's going to read it, not until you share it yourself. Just put it down and see how it feels. And once you do that, you'll find a lot of answers, and even I'm sure you will be surprised too. So, those are the different techniques that I found in the book, which I think could be helpful for you. And before I leave, let me recite this poem which the author suggests is really good for stress relief. It's called Leisure by W.H. Davies. Let me recite it for you and see how it feels. Here it goes. What is this life if, full of care, we have no time to stand and stare? No time to stand beneath the boughs and stare as long as sheep or cows. No time to see when woods we pass, where squirrels hide their nuts in grass. No time to see in broad daylight streams full of stars like skies at night. No time to turn at beauty's glance and watch her feet how they can dance. No time to wait till her mouth can enrich that smile her eyes began. A poor life this, if, full of care, we have no time to stand and stare. Now, take a little bit of time and reflect. What effect did the poem have on you? Did it bring some images? Did it bring up some memories? Did it touch you? Did you think about something else, maybe not related to the poem, your own life? How did it make you feel? Reflect on it, and then maybe you can write about it. Just write down a few things, maybe a few random thoughts, not even sentences. You can use the keywords. What did it remind you of? So that's all you have to do to practice bibliotherapy. Read something that interests you, appeals you, resonates with you, and then reflect on it. As I said, you can either reflect on it and then write it down on paper, or you can use audio journaling, make your voice notes, and then save them for later. And after some time, you go back to your reflections and try to analyze them, try to process those emotions, understand them better. Then you can also be creative about your own emotions and deal with them in a more creative way. And the way to do that is to start with first writing it down in form of a journal entry, then creating something interesting form out of it, something like a song or a poem. You can also write a story about it. If any idea comes to you, you can just write a very simple story, maybe a 1 page long, maybe half a page long. You can do that too. What you will realize then is how creative expression, in this case we are talking about the literary expression, how that can heal us, how that can help us bring out all the dark and hidden things that are buried somewhere deep in our psyche, in the unconscious. It just comes out through the imagination, through the creative process. And that itself, as I said, the whole process just feels so liberating. And it's a wonderful therapeutic experience. Something I'm very sure that you'll enjoy. So that's about it. And I really hope if you get a chance to read this book, and when you get a chance to work on this practice, the practice of bibliotherapy, you're going to have a wonderful time. Thank you very much for listening. If you have any questions regarding bibliotherapy, regarding any of these processes, the techniques that I shared today, if you would like my help there, you can write to me and I'll be very happy to help you out. So I'll catch you the next time with a new book. And thank you once again for listening. Keep reading and keep listening to the podcast. Thank you.